What is going on, guys? This is the Inside the Boot Podcast, your episode number 40. And today we're breaking down the New York Giants preview week 2 going against the Arizona Cardinals on the road. First time this season, the Giants open up their season in a 40-0 loss against the Dallas Cowboys, but they look to respond against a much less talented team. Dallas Cowboys, they had a bunch of talent, and, it showed. CeeDee Lamb having a really good game, Micah Parsons all over the field. Giants don't have to worry about any of that this week. I mean, their quarterback is a downgrade. Everything is a complete downgrade that they're playing against. Joshua Dobbs, no Dak Prescott. Defense, nowhere close, right? So, I mean, there's a lot of things that I like about this matchup. I think the Giants can easily beat the Arizona Cardinals. But the biggest thing is, how is the offensive line going to play? That is one of my keys to watch. As we break down the keys, the biggest stuff to watch is the offensive line, because the offensive line was poor, and poor is an understatement. Mark Lewinsky probably had. Honestly, this is probably going to be his worst game of the season, and it's the first, all season. I think this is the worst we're going to see Mark Lewinsky play, unless it's against, one of the other great pass rushing teams that we play against, like, the Eagles, 49ers, Bills, Commanders, all of that stuff. But he was bad. Mark Lewinsky allowed 3 sacks, a QB hit, and 5 pressures against Dallas. And the 3 sacks is just incredible. The whole right side was a mess. Evan Neal was a mess. Gawinski was horrendous. I thought JMS had a pretty good game. And I thought obviously Andrew Thomas was fine. Jones was pressured 66.7% of his dropbacks, which was the most in the NFL in week 1. And that was 13.6, more than any other QB in the NFL. So that is another thing. The Giants are going to have to fix that real quick, because, right after the Cardinals, they do take on the San Francisco 49ers, who is, another great, defensive team, and they have, a bunch of weapons on the offense. Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk had a good first week. So, a lot of stuff heading into this week 2 matchup, and, we need a lot more positives. I mean, there were definitely some positives in that game against week 1, despite, the 40-0 score. Xavier McKinney had a good game. I thought Banks and Hawkins had a good game. And, obviously Hawkins did have that, pass interference call. Say what you want. It's a 50-50 call. But, and another thing, for, still getting on the offensive line, Jones was hit 54% of his passing plays, 7 sacks, and 7 QB hits. They got him, the defense embarrassed Daniel Jones, right? The Dallas defense went in there and they swarmed him. It was not an easy game at all for Daniel Jones. And, I don't think Daniel Jones played amazing, but I fully expect him to rebound in week 2. He's got a lot. I still think, there is a lot of pressure on him. He just signed that contract. So, another big week for Daniel Jones. So we need to see how he performs. But, I think there's a lot of things that you have to take into this game against the Cardinals. I mean, they're not playing, an elite defense, right? So I expect Daniel Jones move the ball quick upfield, and let's put up some points, I mean, last week we had a goose egg for points, and that's just unacceptable. Only team did not put up any points, which is bad as well, because, the big thing was, the offense and, acquiring Darren Waller, signing Saquon Barkley to a contract, Daniel Jones, Jalen Hyatt, all of that stuff. None of that showed in week 1, but I think, this upcoming week, I think the offense could be a lot better. I expect them to run the ball a lot more, because I think they kind of got away from that. And then, they kind of were like, we have to pass because we need to get the ball downfield, and it wasn't working, and they never really went back to, really prioritizing the run, which I was a little shocked about, because, there were definitely some plays that I, saw on some of the film that, the defensive rushers were just backing up. So, I mean, if you ran the ball, you're probably getting a decent amount of yardage. And if you do that consistently, maybe you at least get some points. Maybe you set up a field goal and go from there. But I mean, the game was over after the first quarter against Dallas. With the Cardinals, as we get to the defense, I didn't think the defense was great in that game versus Dallas. Yes, 40 points was horrible, but Giants just couldn't get to the QB. An elite offensive line they're playing, elite offense in general. But definitely not the greatest start. Lawrence, 2 QB hits, 2 pressures. Kayvon, 0 pressures, 0 QB hits. And Leonard Williams, 0 pressures. So Dexter Lawrence, I thought he played okay. Definitely not, the huge, big impact Lawrence usually has. So kind of, a mid-type game. Kayvon, I thought he actually had some decent plays. And I keep hearing the word bust around Kayvon's name, and I think that's kind of a harsh word for him. If you want to say it about Evan Neal, I can totally, start to really, agree on you, or at least, not argue with you, because Evan Neal has been bad, and there's really, nothing to defend Evan Neal right now. Second year, he was one of the biggest questions for the Giants this season. How is Evan Neal going to play this upcoming season? Because we saw how Andrew Thomas was in his first year, not great. Comes in next year, and that second year dominates. Really good offensive tackle, and then Andrew Thomas still doing that this year, and we wanted to see that out. We just wanted to see some growth, right? I'm not saying go in second season and play exactly like Andrew Thomas. Just wanted to see some growth and just fix the game, fix your game, Neil. And I did not see that. I'm no offensive line coach, but it definitely didn't look bright, in any way. But I mean, going into this week gets Arizona once again. You're not playing a top 5 O line. You're playing a bad football team that's probably contending for the number 1 overall pick. So I mean, you should be able to defeat the Arizona Cardinals. And if you're not able to do that, then we have a bit of an issue. And that really would raise some eyebrows if the Giants, going into the season with all the hype they had, Darren Waller and all that, and they lose to the Cardinals. I mean, that would be something. And yeah, I mean, same thing with Kayvon. I thought he had some good plays. I still think he was a pretty good selection. I think he still has some time to grow. I mean, it's not like this is going to be a 2-3 year investment and then he's gone. I don't think that. I think Kayvon's going to be here for a long time. And I expect good football out of him. Going forward, I expect a good game out of him against the Cardinals. I thought Leonard Williams honestly played pretty bad. Even against that backup guard, I think it was. I didn't think he was great. I should have seen that guy dominating and really creating something, but we didn't see that. And special teams was bad, but that won't happen again. Okay, blocked field goals are not an every week thing, right? That happens once in a while, and the Giants got unlucky, and it happened, and that's football. Okay, that stuff happens. Kick returns, punt returns, it all happens, right? And it's always you never see it coming. It's like you don't just predict, oh, Dallas looks like they're gonna block this field goal right here. No, you can't predict that, and it happened, and move on from it. I don't think they're gonna get their their field goal blocked this week, and I hope Graham Gano is okay because he did have that injury. I think after he was running back or something, he got hit. I don't know, but hopefully Graham Gano is good to go. I think he's good to go because the Giants haven't made any really transactions for a kicker. But now we get into the key players to watch on Sunday, and at number 1, we have Daniel Jones, and I think that's the best answer for the first guy. I mean, we all know Daniel Jones signed that 4-year deal with the Giants, huge investment by the Giants, throwing him $40 million a year. And he was bad, but his O-line was also bad, but he was also bad in general. It wasn't like it was all the offensive line. Daniel Jones was not good. Daniel Jones did not play a good game. He was missing throws, throwing behind Jalen Hyatt. not really doing much. And he missed Campbell on a few throws as well. And I mean, if he completed some of his throws, he probably would have had at least 30 to 40, 45 maybe yards more than what he threw. But another thing is, Daniel Jones has to adjust to Jalen Hyatt's speed, like now. Like this has to like get fixed now. And I think it's a perfect time for that because you're versing a poor team and then you're going to San Fran, right? So I mean, I fully expect a much better game out of Daniel Jones, and I expect the offense to be good, and I mean good. Like, like that throw with Hyatt. I think if he's throwing to Hodgins or Shepard or maybe even Campbell, I think that's on the money. But with Jalen Hyatt, you have to get that ball in front of him, and going behind was all around a bad game from Daniel Jones, but it's not all on him, but it's like 40-60, 40% Jones. It was not a good game at all. And, next we get into Deonte Banks, former, pretty much former first round pick for the New York Giants. Deonte Banks, limited to practice, but I think he's going to be good to go against Arizona. I thought he played amazing against Dallas, talking up smack to Brandon Cooks, playing a good game, backing it up. That's the type of players you need on this roster. And he looked good. Him and Trey Hawkins looked good. I thought Banks played a little bit better. That's why he's in there for the key players to watch on Sunday instead of Trey Hawkins. But I thought Banks was good. I thought he had a really nice breakup, or at least he went off his receiver to help out. I think it was McKinney for a potential touchdown, but really good job there. And maybe the Giants have something with Deonte Banks. But another player who also played good on the defense was Xavier McKinney. I thought he was the best player on the field all night. Honestly, it felt like he was making all the plays. He was doing everything right. It's just, the other players in the offense weren't doing anything. Really good game from Xavier McKinney. And, we could even see a similar type game to what he had, and if not better. And the last guy that I have on my list is Saquon Barkley. He really couldn't get anything going. And, I mean, the first drive, he was good. Everything was going good in the first drive. It was just that bad snap, and then went all downhill. But I think the Giants definitely should have ran the ball a lot more, even though they were down 40-0. I just felt they could have they could have ran the ball a little more that I would have liked. I know you're down 40-0. You want to put up a score. You keep Daniel Jones in for that long, so you're probably not going to throw the ball. You're probably not going to run the ball that much. But I thought I would have liked a few more runs from maybe Saquon or someone, just giving him the ball. And I mean, I hope Saquon and the offense utilizes the run a lot more this week, and I fully expect it to. But listen, this has been a tough start for the Giants. Let's just say that. I mean, definitely going into the game week 1, I was hype. MetLife looks sick, and then the Giants don't show up. But it's a learning experience for the young squad. It's a learning experience for Daniel Jones. Coaching, for coaching, it's a learning experience for the coaching. They got to be better. The offense, the defense, everything has to be better. They have to go into week 2 with a chip on their shoulder and kick some ass. That is what they have to do. They have to go in there and kick some ass in Arizona and really show why, you have to start taking us seriously. Because if you lose 40-0 and people see that, they're really not going to take you that serious. You have to go into Arizona and really, really start going. Like, you have to really put the foot on the gas and start, really putting it down the Arizona Cardinals' throats. I mean, they have to score a lot. Okay, they have to go in there and dominate. Okay, they have to do the things right. And I think that starts off with the first drive. Try and score on the first drive. I mean, that would be a huge step in the right direction if they can score, right? If they can score, first drive really sets the tone for the offense, really sets the tone for the defense of, showing the defense, all right, we did our job, now you got to do our job. You got to do your job. Special teams, assuming they made the extra point, they did their job. Now it's up to the defense, and you have to consistently make great plays every single drive. Whether you're on the defense, whether you're on the offense, you have to really show a good game in week 2. And then you go into, San Fran. But this has been the Inside the Blue podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Of course, hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and turn on that notification bell so you know when I upload these videos. And as always, this has been Vin, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.